Well, good afternoon, everybody, or good evening, whichever you prefer. Hope everybody is keeping well, and welcome back to another Techno live stream. My name is Dan, and with me today is my wonderful co-host Jack. Good afternoon, Jack.
Good afternoon, Dan. Pleasure to hear from you. Do you want to know what we're doing today?
I'd love to know what we're doing today.
Well, we're generating mazes. Oh, goodness. What on earth is going on?
That was an interesting sound.
Oh, I'm so sorry. A neighbour just sort of attacked my door.
Oh, I see. Should we be worried? Oh,
No, it's all fine. I think they're trying to get it open. It's a shared front door.
okay, fair enough. That's fair enough.
Okay, yeah, sorry about that. I mean, this was going to be a fast intro today, and I've absolutely ruined that. Anyway, as I was going to say, we're going to be generating mazes in Minecraft Education Edition.
Wonderful.
So, as a little bit of a recap, here's a maze. In case
Yeah.
in case you've never seen a maze before.
Yeah, there is a maze.
Now,
That certainly looks like a maze.
I didn't build this maze. I generated it using the agent. The agent drew this maze out for me. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing that with the code builder.
Excellent.
So, let's start with a nice blank canvas. I set up beforehand a nice little command block, which just clears the air. It just fills this whole space with empty air.
Emptiness.
Yeah, just to give us room. Oh,
there it goes.
There my maze goes. So yeah, mazes are quite an interesting thing from a computer science standpoint, because they're just fun, aren't they?
They are.
They're fun for humans, but they're also fun for computers. And by that I kind of mean they can be tricky to generate, or they can be easy to generate. But, depending on how you generate it, you'll get different flavors of maze.
Mm.
And I mean, the thing you walk around in, not the type of corn.
Oh yeah.
So yes. Let's generate a maze actually. I'm gonna start straight away by opening up my code builder. Oh, I'm gonna sneak peek at the code. I'm going to go and make a new project. I might call it something, sensible, like Maze Maker.
Mm.
Or a Maze Maker? No, some insert pun here.
Yes. Yeah, I'm struggling to think of a maze-related pun though.
No, there's only one maze-related pun. It's always amazing, and that's just it's just overused.
Yes.
Anyway, so as soon as we've created a new project, we're given 2 blocks. We're not going to use the on-start event block, so I'm just going to move that over to the left to get rid of it. It's a load of rubbish for us. I'm going to probably keep the run block, though. That one's nice and useful. And, what are we going to do today? Well, we're going to be implementing, that is, turning into code, an algorithm. And I've written an algorithm, and this is my algorithm. It's based off a couple of other ones. But basically, the way it works is we make a grid, and there's instructions there to make a grid. And then we travel through the grid, and we go to each point in the grid, and we kind of turn that into a maze, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, all I mean by this is we're going to start with a couple of simple things, like moving the agent forward, drawing walls around the agent, and then sort of remembering where we drew those walls.
Mm.
So that's exactly what I'm going to do. So, back in the code builder, I've got my run command. The first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to teleport the agent to me. So if we go to agent, we've got this option, agent teleport to player. So I'm going to grab that. So I just went to the agent panel, agent teleport to player. Okay. There's something important to realize about this, though, is your agent might not be facing the right way. When you teleport the agent to the player, it's going to face whichever way the agent was facing last.
Yeah.
So when you're playing around with this, it's important to look at your agent and see what direction your agent is pointing before you generate your maze, because otherwise you're going to end up with a maze facing the wrong direction, and it's eaten into the house that you've built, maybe.
I'm pretty sure mine is going to be certainly facing the wrong direction at this point.
Exactly. We've got a couple of other things to tell the agent to do. One thing we're going to get the agent to do is kind of clear obstacles in its way. And we're just going to enable that as an option because it makes life easier for us. We're not having to delete things all the time. We can just get the agent to walk forward and it'll, clear away. And we're going to do that back again in the agent panel. And in the agent panel, there's this agent place on move false block. It's kind of towards the top of the middle. And this, you'll see as a drop-down menu. We're going to use that, and we're also going to tweak these a little bit. So I'm going to grab this one. Agent place on move false. And this is all about editing properties of the agent, rules that the agent understands. And if we use the drop-down arrow, we can choose some of the rules. So there's 3 rules. There's place on move, place from any slot. The rule we want is destroy obstacles. So we want agent, destroy obstacles. At the moment it says false. I want to use the drop-down arrow to change that to true. So we want the agent to destroy anything that gets in its way. That's
Excellent.
a nice little useful one to have sometimes.
It is.
Okay, so that's the first part. Now we need to actually draw the grid.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm going to do for this one is to draw one cell of the grid, one box. I'm going to move the agent forward 2 spaces. And the reason the agent has to go forward 2 spaces is you've got a space in the middle for the agent, for the box itself. And then we need to move the agent out of the box. So if we go forward 1, we'll be in the wall of the box. If we go forward 2, we'll be out.
Ah, I see. Yeah.
So I'm going to move the agent forward by 1. So I go to the agents panel and I pick up the agent move forward by 1. But I'm going to change that. Instead of going forward by 1, it's going to go forward by 2 instead. Okay. So the agent moves forward by 2, and then they make a box around them, or a cell, or a set of walls. And just because it uses quite a few blocks of code, I'm going to make this easier for myself. I'm going to make a function.
Ooh.
A function is something that you can keep calling on, and it's kind of like a little storage of code. So every time I call it, it runs all the code inside it.
Saves us from having to write things out lots of times over and over again.
Exactly. To unlock functions, though, you have to look in the panel on the left, and you have to scroll down to where it says Advanced. And when you click Advanced, it enables more of the menus. And one of them is Functions. As soon as you click on the Functions panel, you can make a function. And you get this window, and you have to give it a name. So I'm going to call this one Make Cell, or something like that. So it's just going to be a function for making a box around the agent. So function make cell. And I'm going to click done. And we get this little C-shaped function block. And basically we can put any code in here, and when we say call make cell, it'll run that code. Okay, so question. How do we draw a box around the agent? Well, if we look in the agent panel, there's not really anything that will let us draw a box.
No, not specifically.
We can place in front of the agent, we can place to the left of the agent, and we can place behind and to the right with this agent place block. But that's kind of useless. That's not a box. That's for... You know, it encloses the agent, but I want a nice, rigid, fully surround block around the agent. I could try placing around the agent, but that it takes up to 8 instructions. That's a lot. So what we're going to do, I'm going to have to borrow you for a little bit of a demonstration here, Dan, I'm afraid.
Okay.
I'm just dipping out of the...
Let me come back to you.
Oh, sorry. I've lost you.
I was on the other side because I thought if my agent if I start running my code, it's going to completely interfere with yours. So I thought if I move to the other side...
There you are.
I'm back.
Anyway, we're gonna get on this floor. Let's make a little bit of a dance floor, actually, just so we can see, you know, what's what.
I'm falling into the dance floor now. We're off to a bad start.
This is just for demonstration purposes. It's nothing serious. Red concrete. I've not got all the pieces. Oh, it'll do.
Oh, look at that.
A little bit of a Rubik's Cube. And let's make this one emerald. And let's make this one diamond. Okay, so imagine that this square of colours is the box that we want to draw around our agent. So our agent is going to be stood in the middle of this. Now, if the agent were drawing, placing forward, behind, left, and right, you'd end up with forward, left, back. You'd end up with like that. And that's... Oh, I just stood inside you, sorry. That's not very useful for us. We want the whole box. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to have the agent stood in the middle, and we're going to write a command that will fill this whole area.
Oh, okay.
So the agent will be stood in the middle, but they'll be inside a block, which will be a little bit awkward. And then we'll get the agent to delete the middle block.
Ah, okay, that makes sense.
So now, when the agent stands in there, like Dan is doing now, Dan's just escaped his cell.
Yep.
And if we fill this area first and then delete the middle block, it'll achieve the same effects. So we're going to need a fill command. And fill commands are a little bit interesting. We need to find out the location of this corner and the location of this corner relative to the agent. So if I'm standing in the middle here, we're going to say that the position of the agent is 0, 0, 0. That's where the agent is standing. So the agent is standing 0 blocks up from themselves, 0 blocks left from themselves, and 0 blocks forward from themselves. Now, if you go stand on the emerald...
Absolutely. Oh, am I about on it? It's quite hard to tell.
Just about, yeah.
There we go.
So Dan is now standing 1 block to the right and 1 block up away from me. Sorry, 1 block to the right, 1 block forward.
Yeah.
So Dan's position relative to mine is 1 for 1 block right, 0 because he's not going up at all. He's on the same level, and another 1 because he's forward. So 1 0 1. Would you mind going standing on the emerald block? Sorry, the diamond block for me now.
Absolutely. There we are.
Now Dan is in the other corner. If I look over here, well, he's 1 block left. But because we are sort of counting things differently, we're not going to say that's 1 block left. We're going to say that is minus 1 block right. So what that means is you go right, but in the minus direction. So what's left of right? not the greatest explanation, I'm afraid.
Positive means right, negative means left.
Exactly. So we're going to say that Dan is minus 1 block right from me. So what that means is 1 block left. And you're 1 block behind, which is the equivalent to saying as minus 1 block forward.
I see.
Hands up if you're confused. If that explanation didn't suit you or wasn't very clear, don't worry about it.
All will be revealed.
We can pop the numbers in and it'll just work out just nicely. But that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to fill the area from minus 1 0 minus 1 to 1 0 1 around the agent. So that's going to go from the agent's bottom left to the agent's top right. We're going to fill that area. I've just budged my mic. Sorry if that made a nasty sound.
No.
We're just going to fill that area with whatever material we want our maze to be. So we're going to use a fill command. These are found in blocks. In the blocks panel, we can scroll down, and we've got this big one here called fill with, and it says fill with grass, and it's got these locations in there. So fill with what material do you think our maze should be done?
Well, I was just actually thinking about this. I've just gone with some.
I'm tempted to use leaves, but I'm not sure leaves stay.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, kind of make a hedge maze.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
But I think Minecraft's got this annoying thing where if you place a block of leaves down, they don't decay. Whereas if you generate a block of leaves, they disappear after a certain amount of time.
Right, okay.
I think that's the case. If anyone knows more about Minecraft, feel free to experiment or research, see what you can get. I'm thinking I could do it in pumpkins.
That would be...
Tell you what, I will do this in...
I'm going to do... If I do mine in pumpkins...
Oh, that's a good idea.
We've got one in pumpkins.
I'm going to be dull and do mine in stone bricks, just because I can.
Right, there we go. So I'll go with pumpkin.
So in the fill with, I've selected the stone bricks. I also need to somehow find out the locations of the bottom left corner and the bottom right corner relative to the agent. I can't use these ones here because these ones that are currently in the fill block, these ones are relative to the player, not relative to the agent, which is very annoying. Instead, I need to do a little bit of maths. So what I mean by that is if we go to the positions panel, we find this massive green oval one that adds 2 positions together. It takes one position and adds it to another.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to grab that. I'm not going to put it in anything at the moment because we've got more things to add to this. This is adding stuff from one position to another. And the position we need to find out is the position of the agent. And you can get that from the agent panel.
Oh, yeah.
And down here we've got this orange blob called agent position. And I'm going to put that in the top of the add positions block. So we've got agent position plus something. Now, if we want the top right corner, remember what I said, that needs to be one block forward and one block right. So let's put this in here now. What that means is we put a 1 in the first gap, because that means one block forward. We put a 0 in the middle gap, because that means going up and down. We're not doing up and down, we're only doing flat.
Yeah.
So that one stays 0. And this one over here becomes 1 as well.
So we're looking at the X, Y, and Z coordinates there, aren't we?
So we go 1 plus 1 in the X direction, plus 0 in the Z direction? Y direction.
Y, yeah.
Y direction. And plus 1 in the Z direction. And I'm going to pick this whole thing up and I'm going to put it in the from slot of the fill. So that should be now clearer to see. We go from agent position plus 1, 0, 1. And it needs to go to the bottom left, which is going to be, well, it's going to be minus 1s. So it's going to be the exact same thing, to the point that I'm going to right click and duplicate. And I'm going to put it in the 2. I'm going to replace the 1s with minus 1. Minus 1. Okay, so that fills in a 3x3 block around the agent. And we can actually test whether this works. On my, back in my onChat command event, I'm going to add a block. This block is found in the functions panel. And it's called call make cell. That appeared, this call make cell appeared as soon as I made the make cell function. So if you called your function something else, it'll say call whatever you called it. I called my make cell, so it says call make cell. So I'm going to grab that and I'm going to put it at the bottom.
I have obtained an interesting result over at my with my agent, so I'm curious to see how yours turns out.
Ooh, okay. I'll give mine a run and I'll come see what's happened with yours. Okay.
It's quite funny actually,
click.
because there's currently just an agent stood in the middle of some pumpkins.
I'm going to click the big start button down here. And I'm going to press T to bring up the chat menu. And I'm going to type in run, which was the keyword. Oh, and there we are. So
now,
yeah, the agent went forward 2 places, and then drew a box around them.
So strangely, my box, despite us having exactly the same code... Oh, no, wait, I can see my mistake already. Some debugging will need to take place. Let me fix that, and then let me change that. So you can see that although it's worked, it's slightly bigger, but I think I've realized what my mistake is. So...
Did you perhaps store the wrong starting location?
I hadn't used the fill, the big adding the agent position to segment.
You forgot to add the agent positions.
I did it for the first, but I didn't do it for the negatives. So if I now run it again, let's see.
There we are.
Much better.
So that's exactly what we want. The next step for this is to delete the middle block, because at the moment Dan's poor agent is suffocating.
It is.
And yeah, once we delete that, we get what is effectively... We're going to call these cells, because It's kind of a computer sciencey term. I think there's a very old live stream on the channel if you're looking back, where I did something to do with Oh, I hate the word.
Oh,
Cellular,
yeah,
cellular,
cellular. Yeah.
cellular automata.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, that's a cool one. That's all about generating living code, basically
Excellent.
living cells. Anyway, again beyond. Yeah. So next step, we need to delete the middle block. So I'm going to do that in the code builder. I'm going to go back to my make cell function, and what I'm going to do is from the blocks panel. The first code in the blocks panel places a block at a certain position.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to grab that. So this will place a block at any place we tell it to. At the moment, it's placing it at the player's feet. That's not very useful. Let's place it instead at the location of the agent. So let's get the agent's position. We can get it from the agent panel. And yeah, we got agent position, this orange blob here. And I'm going to put that as the position. So this will place a grass block where the agent stands. That's not very useful to us because the agent will still be suffocating. So we're going to use the drop down arrow. And we're not going to place grass, we're going to place air. So air is, well, empty. It's the absence of a block. So air is just nothing. Okay, let's click play. We're placing air after we've done the fill. So when I type in run again, the agent goes forward, draws a box around itself, and then deletes the block in the middle. Which makes a nice little cozy hole.
Yes.
And it's not a very impressive building yet. It's also not a very impressive maze.
It's quite a simple maze.
Yeah. What we're going to do next is we're going to have the agent carry on doing that for as long as we like. So it should make a row of cells.
Mm.
Okay, that's a nice simple thing to do. I'm going to open the code builder. And in our run command, we've got these two blocks. We've got the agent move forward, and then the agent makes a cell. What we're going to do is we're going to repeat these however wide we want the maze. So how do we do that? Well, in the loops panel, clicking down in loops, we've got a nice variety of loops, and we've got one of these repeat 4 times. And if I drag that out, and I put it around those 2 bottom blocks, if I can... It's so hard to move these blocks around sometimes. So we're repeating 4 times, where we're moving the agent forward by 2 blocks, and then we're making a cell around the agent. So we move forward and we call the function. And that will happen 4 times. Let's click play. Let me delete what I've got so far. Ooh. And let's run that. Ooh.
Ooh, we're getting...
So there we are. By typing in that, we get 4 cells.
We do.
And if I change that to a higher number, so back into the code builder, and I type in 40, that will make 40 cells. And we'll have a maze that is 40 cells wide. Let me clear this first. I know I've got a clear command, but I'm going to save that for when we've got a really massive maze that needs getting rid of. I don't want to ruin your maze, Dan.
My maze of pumpkins.
So let's click run, type run again. Remember, this time we set it to 40 cells, so 40 repeats. And there we go. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And it'll go on forever. Well, it'll go on 40 times. If your agent ever runs away from you and ends up going on too long, we can always stop the agent by pressing C to open the code builder again. And it stops the agent in its tracks. And it just cancels running the code. I'm not sure how many we've made so far, but this is going to be a lot of clear up. I'm just going to use use my little sneaky command block over here to clear it.
There it goes.
Sorry, Dan, I ruined your fun.
It's okay.
You're playing hopscotch over there.
I was.
So yeah, we've got a agent moving along, making a row of cells, and that's going to be the first row of our maze. And
Excellent.
we're gonna make our maze long as well as wide a bit later, but that's a little bit trickier. So instead, what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually add the maze making step right now.
Ooh.
Rather than, we're going to do it for a row first, and if it works for a row, then we can do it for the whole maze.
Hmm.
Okay, so as a little reminder what my algorithm is. So we've made a grid, technically. We've made a grid, but we've only made one row of the grid. We're going to have to do a little bit more before we can do the whole maze. Now we need to make the grid a maze. And the way that we're going to do this is we're going to visit each cell that we've been to, and we're going to delete a random wall of that cell, and then move on to the next one.
Okay.
So if we've got, let me just make some demonstration cells here. Let's do this 5 times. That's not too long. Run. So if you've got 5 cells, once we've drawn those out, we need to go back to each cell. So the agent will go to one of these cells, and it needs to decide on a random direction. So it might go left, back, forward, right. Hang on, no. It might, it'll choose one of these, either this one, this one, this one, or this one. It will delete it, and then move to the previous, move to the next cell. So choose that one, that one, that one, or that one, delete it, then move to the next cell. Choose one of these, delete it, move to the next cell. Choose one of these, delete it, and so on. And you can see, if I delete that one maybe, we're getting kind of the beginnings of a maze there. Almost. It's a very boring maze. In fact, it's very easy to solve. But if we do that a lot of times, that'll be a little bit more interesting. Anyway, I'm just going to clear that. To be able to do that, though, we need to remember where the location of each cell is, which is a little bit tricky, because how do you get the agent to go, hey, remember that cell you made 10 minutes ago? Can you jump back to that one, please? Go for it. Do it. The agent just doesn't know the location unless we store it somehow. What I mean by that is we need to make a list of locations that we have visited. And then we're going to look through that list and go to each one in turn. So back in the code builder, I'm going to do something here. I'm going to first off start making a list. I'm going to make a list that starts out empty, and then every time we make a cell, we add the location of that cell to the list. And to do this, this is over on the left in the advanced settings. Sorry, in the advanced tab. It's the arrays panel. An array is just a list. So I'm opening that up. And here we've got set list to array of 0, 1, and so on. I'm going to use this, but I don't want it to set, let's get onto that. I'm going to use this. I'm going to pick this up. Oh, if my mouse decides to work. And I'm going to put this at the start of run. And the reason I'm putting at the start of run is because every time we make a new maze, by typing run, we want the list to sort of start brand new. We don't want it to hold anything from the last maze we made.
We want it to reset.
Yeah. At the moment, it's trying to make a list with the numbers 0 and 1 in there. We don't want that. So instead, I'm going to pick where it says array of 0, 1. I'm going to pick that whole thing up and pop it in the bin where it belongs. Instead, I'm going to go back into arrays. And in arrays, I've got empty array. And that's exactly what we want. We want something that's completely empty. So set list to empty array. The reason that we're putting it at a start, it's always good in computer science to kind of say to the computer what you're going to use before you use it. And that's so that the computer can, kind of say, oh, they're going to use this in a bit. I better get ready for them.
Yes.
Kind of like that. So we're setting the list to an empty array. What we're going to do over here in the make cell function is after we've made the cells and we've cleared the empty space in the middle, we're going to save the location of that cell to the list. And we're going to pop it at the beginning of the list. So I'm going to go to the arrays panel and I'm going to scroll down till I find the modify section. And in the modify section, we've got this block here. Is list insert blob at beginning. What this will do is it'll insert whatever we tell it to at the start of the array, at the start of the list. So I'm going to pick that one up. Oh, no, I'm going to scroll, apparently. What's up with my mouse today? I'm going to pick that one up. No, pick that one up. Thank you. And I'm going to pop that at the bottom of the make cell function. And we need to store something at the... we need to store something in the list. And what we're going to store is the position of the agent. Because at this point, the agent hasn't moved at all. They're still in the center of the cell. So that would be the location of the cell. So I'm going to go back into the agent panel and pick up agent position. So inserting the agent's position at the beginning of the list. Okay. Now, I could demonstrate it. However, it would be, at the moment, we wouldn't be able to see anything about this. Because when we're saving stuff to a list, it all happens in the background. We don't see anything visual represented. So, as much as I'd like to give a demonstration of this, you wouldn't see anything fun. So, what I'm going to do instead is take a sip of tea.
Oh, lovely.
Just in case anyone needs to catch up on the code. Oh, a lovely cup of tea. I say a cup of tea, it's in a flask, so... Flask of tea? No, that just sounds
Tastes
like...
the same, right?
No, tea in a flask is always too metallic. But, you know, I'd rather have metallic tea than cold tea.
Well, that is, yeah.
Anyway, let's get back on track and not talk about tea. Okay, so we're storing the location of each cell in the list. Now we need to actually go back and visit the cell. So, I'm going to go back to my on-chat command run event. We've got the repeating the 5 times where the agent moves forward and makes a cell. This is all the code to do with making the cell. After that's finished, we need to head back to the previous place.
Right.
So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to use a special type of loop that looks through the list and does something with each thing in the list.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go to loops, and in the loops menu, if I scroll down, the second one from the bottom is called for element value of list. And basically what that means is, okay, I'm going to look through the list, and for every thing I find in the list, I'm going to do something with that thing. And that thing is this value here. I'm going to pick that whole thing up. I'm going to put it underneath the repeat 5 times. So for each value of the list, what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to visit it. I'm going to send the agent back there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to teleport the agent to the value. And the value is going to be a position that we've saved in the past. So let's teleport the agent. This is over in the agents panel. And it's not agent teleport to player, because that'd be kind of useless. The agent would just be following us around all the time. Instead, we're going to use agent teleport to squiggly 0, squiggly 0, squiggly 0, facing west. So agent teleport 2. Okay. Now, we don't want to teleport to 0, 0, 0 because that's the location of the player. Instead, we want to teleport to value. So I'm going to pick value up from the top of this for loop. And I'm going to put that in there to replace zeros. So we're going to teleport to value. And remember, value is each position we've stored in the list. And it says facing west. I do have the options to change that. Unfortunately, I don't have the option to face a random direction, which would be very helpful here and make our code a lot faster. But I'm just going to leave it at west. It doesn't really matter, because we're going to be turning our agent around next randomly. The reason why I'm going to be turning the agent around randomly is the agent needs to choose a wall of the cell to delete. So to do that, I'm going to get the agent to spin around. At a random point, the agent will stop spinning and then delete whatever blocks in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lovely, nice little way of doing this with with a repeat loop. So I'm going to go back into loops and scroll down. We got the repeat 4 times.
Yep.
I'm going to bring that and I'm going to put it inside the 4 element value of list. So it's going directly underneath the teleport agent.
So we've got a bit of nested loops here.
Yep, nested loops. So all that means is we've got a loop inside a loop.
Yeah.
At the moment it says repeat 4 times. Now, there are 4 directions, yes. We've got north, east, south and west. Everyone always says it's naughty elephants squirt water. As a kid, I really didn't like that for some reason. I ended up saying naughty emu spit wafers. But we've got 4 directions. So you'd think that we'd then have to say repeat 4 times. However, we're going to change that to a 3. And the reason why we're changing that to a 3 is we're already facing west. Actually, I'm thinking about it. We don't set that to 3 at all. Sorry. I'm thinking about the wrong number blob. What I meant to do here is I meant to say we're going to repeat this a random number of times, not 3 times. So we need a random number, which is in the math panel. In the math panel, we've got pick random 0 to 10. It's this block that should go in the repeat. My mistake. And yeah, we're going to pick a random number from 0, and we're not going to go 0 to 10, we're going to go 0 to 3. So what this will do is either not turn at all, or it'll turn once, or twice, or 3 times. And why do I say turn? Well, the next block we're going to add is over an agent. We're going to get the agent to turn left. So agent turn left. So what we're doing is we're picking a random number of times for the agent to turn left. So the agent might turn left 3 times. The agent might turn left 1 time or 0 times. And that will choose for us a random direction. Is that making sense? All right, Dan?
It is, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so we've got a 4-element loop. Inside that, we teleport the agent. Then we get the agent to turn left a random number of times between 0 and 3. The last thing we should do is we should delete the blocks that are in front of us. Because this is what we're doing for each cell. We're just deleting one of the walls, and that will give each cell more space. And it'll start connecting certain cells together. This is all about cells deleting one of their walls so that they can face their neighbor. And that starts making paths and channels and all sorts through the maze. So let's go agent. And with the agent block, I'm going to scroll down to the actions section. And one of the actions is agent destroy forward. This destroys the block that's straight in front of the agent. Agent destroy forward. And I'm going to put this underneath the repeat block, but still inside the 4-element loop. So we've got the 4-element, and inside that we've got teleport the agent, repeat, turn, and then agent destroy forward. Okay, I'll leave that up for a second. We're going to go ahead and test this now. Remember, we're still only testing this with a row. Rather than a full maze. But if this works, we can then move on to doing the full maze. So let's click play.
Oh, goodness. Okay, my agent did go a little bit mad.
I'm interested to see what happened. I'll be over in a second. Let's just run this for myself. Okay, so the agent's drawing out 5 blocks. And then visits each cell. And then deletes a random wall of each cell.
Oh, well, it's sort of similar to mine, actually.
Yeah, so on this end cell, the agent deleted this block. On this cell, the agent deleted this block in front of me. On this cell, the agent deleted this block. On this one, deleted behind it. And on this one, deleted straight in front of it. So if we were to make that a higher number... Oh, I was going to see yours. How's yours get on?
It's okay. It's a bit
It's not the most intense maze.
It's not. No, not particularly.
See, this is the beauty of randomness.
Yes.
It seems like for every cell except the end cell, the agent just deleted the one that was either in front of it or behind it.
Yes, I am actually going to run it again and see what we get.
Okay. I'll be interested to see this run externally. So, drawing out the cells, and then going back through them and deleting random paths. And yeah, we get a different maze each time. And they look a little... Oh, you've managed to... Is that an E or a G?
Well, that's what I was wondering. I guess it's arguably it's almost a 36.
Yeah. Or 93. You've got 93.
Or a 93.
Anyway, that's just because we're doing it with one row. Once we add 2 rows in, that'll be much more interesting. So let's go and do that. I don't know why I'm going all the way back here. But yeah, let's add it so it does more than one row. So I'm going to go back into the code builder. Now, when we did the 1 row, we did it with this repeat 5 times. Now, what I'm going to do is, if we're doing a sort of a table, if we're doing a grid, that's several columns of several rows. So let's say we've got how do we make a grid? Basically, we just draw it row by row. So at the moment we're drawing 1 row, and to draw 1 row we use this repeat block. So how do we draw multiple rows? Well, if we repeat the repeat block and do a little bit of rearranging in between, that will start drawing a full grid for us. So this is where we get to use another one of our nested loops. So I'm going to go back into the loops menu and scroll down, and I'm going to get out another oh dear, need my cup of tea. I turned into a melting robot then. There we are. So we are going to get our repeat block, and we're going to try and get it so that our repeat block goes around the repeat 5. Actually, that's not going to happen because it's trying to go around everything. So I'm just going to pop it in the top for a moment. So I've got the repeat. This is going to be our outside repeat. This is going to be how many columns we have. And for now, we're going to keep it so that we have the same number of columns as we do rows. So I'm going to change this to 5. So we've now got a repeat block for columns, and we've now got a repeat block for rows. I need to get the row repeat. So many R words today.
Yeah.
I need to get the row repeat into the column repeat. So I'm going to drag the row repeat out. Notice it's dragging everything underneath it as well. That's very annoying. So I'm going to drag everything underneath it and move it back to where it should go. And now I'm going to get my row repeat and put it inside my column repeat. So we're going to repeat 5 times. 5 times we're going to draw a row. But if I do it like this, the problem with that is it'll just make the rows end on end. So it'll just make a row of 5, and then stick onto the end of that another row of 5, and then stick onto the end of that another row of 5, and so on and so on. Which is a little bit awkward. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to finish a row and then reset the position of the agent. So what do I mean by that? Well, if I go back... Oh, I've not built anything. That's annoying. Let's make a quick demonstration one. Ooh, wrong one. Ooh, and one too many. Yeah, so say I've got my first row. The agent's gone along each one and is now at the end. I need to now reset my agent to a position where the agent can draw the next row. So what we're going to get the agent to do is to move left 2 spaces and then move back however many blocks long our row is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And oh look at that. So I moved back 8 blocks. 8 is 2 times the number of cells we have in a row. So we got a little bit of maths there for us. Yeah, so to recap, the agent finishes a row, they move left 2 places, and they move back the number of cells times 2. If that makes sense.
Mm.
So let's do the moving left first. So I've got my row repeat loop. Underneath that, I'm going to get the agent to move left 2 spaces. So I'm going to go back to the agent panel. And we've got agent move forward by 1. Well, that's the one we want, but we need to tweak it a little. So agent move forward by 1. I'm going to grab that. And I'm going to put it underneath our row repeat. So we draw a row. Then we move the agent left. So I'm changing that with the drop down arrow to left. And I'm not moving left 1, I'm moving left 2. So the agent moves left 2. The agent also needs to move backwards. So I'm going to get another from the agents panel. Agent move forward by 1. I'm going to put that underneath the last block we made. And we're not moving the agent forward, we're moving the agent backward this time. So using the drop down arrow, we're going to change that to back. And how much do we need to move the agent back? Well, the row is 5 cells long. The full width of the row is 2 times how many cells? So there's 5 cells. So I need to do 2 times 5, which I think is 10.
It is.
Crossed. So yeah, we move back 2, we move back 10. And then we repeat that 5 times. So that should give us our grid. And I believe that's all we need. I don't think we need to actually tweak the code anymore for that. I think that just works. I'm going to clear the map if you don't mind, Dan.
Yeah,
all
that's
done.
fine.
Oh, I've done it already before you said you could, so sorry if you're building something.
No.
I'm going to type run. Okay, so the agent's going ahead and building 5, then moves left and goes back, and then builds another row.
Oh goodness, my agent was facing the wrong way.
Oh dear, yeah. Remember what I said at the start? Always check which way your agent is facing. Otherwise you might end up with a maze that's kind of not where you want it.
I think it's a maze that's more designed for a boat that I'm currently producing.
Yeah. I think you might have gone off the edge a bit. Anyway, I don't know whether anyone managed to catch that. I'll do another one in a bit. But yeah, the agent finished out drawing all of the rows and then went back through each of the cells and deleted one of the walls. And we've ended up with a bit of a maze. Not a great one, but we can always neaten it up by hand. Before I do a little bit of tidying up in the code, let's have a look at what's happened over here with Dan's. Oh dear.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you don't check which way your agent is facing, you might end up with a maze in the wrong place.
Just looks a bit like this.
Yeah, hanging off the edge.
It's
I'm
a
afraid,
lot of
Dan,
floating
my
pumpkin.
command block won't reach beyond the wood.
Oh goodness.
So have fun.
I'm gonna have fun with that. Yeah. There we are.
Your agent looks very guilty.
It does. It does.
Yeah. Anyway, the yeah, so we've got a sort of basics of a maze. We can make it a little bit more impressive. If I delete everything, let's make the maze a little bit bigger. So, what's important here is I need to make sure my numbers are correct. So let's say I want to go up to, let's go 7 by 7 maze. So I need to make sure the number of columns is 7, the number of rows is 7, And the number of spaces I move back is 2 times the number of columns and rows. So I've got 7 rows. That needs to be 2 times that, which would be 14. If I don't do that, we end up with a very wonky maze. So I'm going to leave it as 10. It shouldn't be 10. It should be 14. Actually, I might even turn that down to like 4, 5. Let's go 5. So basically, whatever I typed in the wrong number there, it should be 14. Let's see what happens if I don't have it as twice the number of lots of words. Oh no, I've done the same mistake. I've had my agent facing the wrong way. Okay, so I'm going to add a quick command that'll just turn the agent around the right way. So in my code, I'm going to go to player this time. And instead of using a chat command, I might use an item command. So on spade used, on iron spade used. What I might do with this, let's choose something fun, like, I don't know. I always go for diamond swords. I'm a bit bored of diamond swords. Let's go raw fish. On fish used, I'm just going to have my agent turn left. And this will be there just so I can reset the position of my agent if it ends up in the wrong place. Okay, let's click go. Let me find a fish. Sure does have to find it now.
I will just point out the time as well, Jack.
Oh no!
I'm afraid we have actually we are actually over our time limit.
Do you have anywhere pressing to go?
I will need to head off in a little while, but we can carry on for now.
I'll just go for another 5 minutes.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Why not? Special edition. Extended edition.
Okay, raw fish was probably a wrong choice because that item doesn't really exist. I mean, it's got variations, raw salmon and raw trout, I think, but I'm going to change it back to iron shovel just because it's easier. I can find that easier. Iron shovel. Okay. With iron shovel, when I click iron shovel, I can just get my agent to rotate around the right way. So that means when I run my maze, it'll actually work.
Oh, there we go.
Going the right way now. So it'll do 7 by 7. Oh, but I typed in the wrong number, so it's not gone back all the way. And I've ended up with a very skewed maze. The kind of diagonal maze. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it could be interesting and useful. But
yeah,
also it's not quite what we wanted. Oh, it's still going. How many columns have we done so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Our last column. Yeah, that's not worked out right.
No, not quite.
And now it'll try making a maze out of this, which it won't have fun time doing. So yeah, it's important that that number of blocks it goes by is 2 times the number of rows. Whoops. Anyway, let's cancel that. And let's reset the map. Oh, we just left a trail of destruction.
An absolute trail.
Let's change that number back to what it should be. Which is... Move back... Well, the number of rows I had was 7, so 14. 2 times 7, I hope, 14. Okay, let's type run. And let me clear up a little bit of mess. We should see the agent going along. Done column number 2. You may notice this is taking a really long time. And there's a reason for that. This algorithm I've made is what we say in computer science, not a very efficient one. So we always talk in computer science about making algorithms as efficient as possible. And what that means is making sure that they run very fast. And the reason that we want that is, well, let's say you're typing something into Google and you press enter. Imagine if you had to wait 15 minutes before you get your search results.
Well, it wouldn't be ideal.
No, exactly. So instead, Google have spent a lot of time and a lot of money trying to get their algorithm to be as fast as possible. And look, we got a maze. It took some time, but we did get a maze in the end.
We did.
There's also another problem with this algorithm. It doesn't always guarantee a maze that can be solved.
Right.
So if you look at this maze here, it starts where the agent is, and you turn left and, oh, I'm out of the maze. That was a very quick maze to be solved. So you might need to go in and edit things a little bit. So I think that actually solves, yeah, that solves the maze. So it doesn't guarantee one that works. And I just wanted to show off quickly, before we finish off, what happens, you know, why this isn't a good algorithm and what algorithms you can use instead. So if I head over to, hopefully this is the right button, you should see a video I recorded earlier where I tried to make a 20 by 20 maze. So that's 20 rows, 20 columns. Fingers crossed this works. And yeah, that should be playing for you. You'll see I put a stopwatch up in the corner in a bit. It's already been running for 10 seconds. Okay, now we're going into high speed mode. So 1 minute so far, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. It's still drawing the grid. It's not even gotten to the maze drawing part. 4 minutes, 5 minutes. Okay, 6 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes. And now it's doing the maze drawing part. So it took 8 minutes just to get to that. And there we are. Final time, 10 minutes, 41 seconds to draw a 20 by 20 maze.
My goodness.
Yeah, that's a not great algorithm. It took a lot of time to do that. And there are faster ones. And if I head over to the right button here, you can see that there are lots available out there. There's things like the backtracking algorithm. This one's a fun one. And draws out nicely like this. I'll pop the website in chat. Thank you to whoever made this. So yeah, we've got them. I've used the wrong keyboard. Too many keyboards. There we are. Now I can paste. So yeah, we've got the backtracking algorithm. We've got the randomized prim. This one kind of spreads a bit like moss, or a bit like a plant. Ella's algorithm, which is mine's kind of a little bit like Ella's algorithm, kind of a little mix between Ella's and depth first. So yeah, this one takes its time. A lot of these algorithms are pretty good because they're actually guaranteed to make sure that your maze is solvable. Now, my algorithm wasn't guaranteed. You never knew whether it was going to be solvable or not. This is the Aldous Broder algorithm, this one. A little bit of fun. Wilson's algorithm. So yeah, if this kind of stuff interests you, you can find all sorts of fun and cool stuff. One of my favorites is the recursive one, because it draws it in grids. And it basically splits the map up into smaller and smaller parts. And you get cool stuff like that. In any case, that's it for mazes. I just wanted to make a little announcement. Technocamps, in partnership with the Energy Saving Trust, are running the Home of the Future competition. It's a game design competition. I've just whacked the microphone again. Sorry.
It's okay. I didn't catch anything, so I think we're good.
Yeah, well, you won't catch anything. You're hearing me through a different
Oh, I
microphone.
see.
Apologies, everyone. But yeah, if you fancy it, there's the Home of Future competition. It's all about developing a game that will make a house, well, shows how to make a house more energy efficient. The first session is on the 29th of April. You can register for it using this link, which I'm going to send out in chat. If my keyboard is connected correctly. Oh, yes, it is. There we are. Yeah, first prize will receive £100 for
Oh,
themselves and £2,000 for their school. The runner-up will receive £50 and £1,000 for the school. And the third place will receive £25 with 500 for their school. And it comes
excellent.
with a couple of development sessions. So if you've never made a game before, you can still join up and follow along with our sessions and get a good load of experience there. And if you fancy it, links in chat. You can register there. And yeah, hope that proves interesting.
Excellent.
In any case, I will just pop our URL up on the screen. If you want to rewatch this live stream, or you want to find out more about the clubs. Speaking of which, tomorrow Dan is doing some Python turtles in his club.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have a chance to do some turtles. We may be looking at some more Python basics to begin with, and then if we've got some time, we might branch into turtles as well.
Yeah, so that's the club for tomorrow. Friday's club are doing all sorts of fun stuff. They just choose at random, so nothing scheduled. And then for next week is looking a bit like this. In the Monday club, I am doing Square Waves as part of our chip music series.
Mm-hmm.
Next live stream, again at the same time, 4:30. We are doing a little bit of CGI. So we're
Yeah,
doing idents and intros. So if you've got a YouTube channel maybe, and that you want a nice, cool, fancy intro for, capture us along on that one, and we'll go through that. And then Dan's doing some more on the text adventures on Wednesday in Python.
yes, absolutely.
In any case, sorry for running over by 13 minutes.
It's fine.
uh,
Like I said, extended edition.
Extended edition, yeah. It's a good job we don't charge by the minute. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you managed to make some cool mazes. If you want an extension, you can try using one of the algorithms I showed you on that website to make some more interesting and much better mazes than the ones I've generated today. In case, that's it from me, Jack, and my wonderful co-host Dan.
Thank you very much, Jack.
Thank you, everyone. Have a lovely evening and good night.
Take care, everybody.